All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to talk about some of the biggest red flags that you will come across on certain coins. This particular video right here is focused mainly on big, large silver coins. And the reason why that this is going to be an important kind of topic of discussion as we head into the summer months of 2022 is that the market is going to switch directions here really fast for a lot of people. The overall health of the financial market, the stock market, cryptocurrency is not really good right now. Inflation's up. I mean, you guys have heard this, quite a bit. I could talk about that particular subject for a while, but it would be the most useless, pointless thing to talk about. But during these times when the market goes through a correction of epic proportions, and I hate to throw out there again 2008, 2009 as being like one of the recent catalysts that we've seen in recent memory to really jumpstart the silver market and a few specific coins that were being bought out in droves. But now would be a time to talk about it and double down on the events that had happened in 2008, 2009 when the housing market went burr and crashed, and a lot of people lost their homes and banks closed and all that stuff. People are looking for safe haven type of items to pour money into. One of the closest things that they can grab a hold of are coins, precious metals of any type. A lot has evolved in just the last 14 years since that time period, especially when it comes to the e-commerce world and what it represents in our life. I think because of the pandemic, we have grown accustomed to buying a lot of what we do need, whether it's everyday consumer goods or things that are investable like coins, currency, paper, precious metals, things of that nature. We have seen just a tremendous evolution of how you can purchase these items. However, with that kind of evolution into something that is so dang popular, will also come a lot of things that you need to be very careful about when you're going out there and you're dipping your toe into this particular hobby or investment classification, asset class, I guess is what you could call it. Morgan dollars has always been one of the tried and true staples of buyouts since that time, 14 years ago. I remember, like it was yesterday, Morgan dollars, peace dollars were being bought out in tremendous amounts by everybody. All right, coin dealers were running out of these things in 2009. Here's another X factor. There was a lot of melting going on during this time. A lot of Morgan dollars became melted. They were smelted and melted in 2009 all the way up to, I would say, about 2012. That things kind of slowed down when it was not equitable to do so. So there are, comparatively, I would like to say there is a lot less inventory of just generic Morgan dollars, whether they're culls, which are kind of like just like damaged or not worth more than the actual melt value of the coin. You know, maybe they're beat up, very well circulated, common dates, that sort of thing. But with the melting going on and all that stuff, a lot of these coins were ultimately lost, all right, and then refined into bars and other things that were easier to transport and to sell in the open market. But now, today, we're going to see a tremendous shift into back to what we were doing 14 years ago, and that we were going to go and put our money into surefire bets. This is just a common type of market movement that's closely associated with high inflation, right? Because silver has always been that hedge against inflation. So you dump your money into silver, and it's to help preserve and protect your money as we go through this transition period in the marketplace where, things got a little bit too expensive. Okay? So things are going to adjust, and that's going to take a little bit of time. So let's talk a little bit about some of the red flags that you're going to come across when you're shopping for these. We're, of course, going to focus primarily on eBay because this is the most universal e-commerce site, bar none, for silver coins and everything under the sun in that. And again, with the evolution of e-commerce comes more opportunity to try and squeeze the blood out of a turnip for each and every single one of you by these sellers. All right, so we're in the Morgan dollar area of eBay, and you're going to kind of, obviously, you're looking to buy into some of this stuff, right? Ultimately, you want to try and buy the best condition coins, number one. Number two, you're trying to buy in bulk, all right? Because that's where you're going to save the most amount of money. So you'll come across listings like this here. 1878 to 1904 Gem BU Morgan Silver Dollar from OBW Roll, Estate Sale Hoard. Okay, and it specifies Philadelphia, New Orleans, San Francisco, Carson City. All for a cost of $99.50 free shipping. Or it says best offer. You could throw in a best offer. I mean, it must be a decent deal because the seller has sold 576 lots, or coins rather, from this particular listing. Let's take a look and see what we're actually dealing with here. So, to pick up one example of this coin at $99.50 is a pretty tremendous premium. If you end up with a very common date, mint state, just kind of like general BU coin, brilliant uncirculated coin. It's going to be priced about $40 to $50 more than what the actual market value is for a common date. So you can envision, let's say you ordered a couple of these. You ended up with a 1879, which is a very common date, Morgan dollar in mint state condition, and let's say an 1881S, which is an incredibly common date in mint state condition. A lot of those were found in GSA hoards as well. Those particular coins were probably bought wholesale from this seller, Jeff's Coins, in the neighborhood of about 35 to 40 bucks. All right, so they're turning around, flipping these, and the red flag when it comes to this type of listing is that it's incredibly vague. They don't tell you the specific date that you're going to be receiving. You have no choice. Usually when there's a lot of something and you could pick and choose which one you want to buy, there's actually a drop down you could click into to choose the coin for a specific dollar value, and then you could go ahead and add that to cart. This one is not. This is just a shot in the dark. Whatever you send me is what I'm going to get. Now, it's funny that they have Carson City in here. Now, there are Carson City coins that you could obtain in very low grades for, probably 50, 60 bucks. Okay, that's not out of the question. There is 1891 CC, 83 and 84 CCs, but a lot of those are much higher grades. Okay, very few of them actually circulated, and when you do come across circulated examples, they're pretty well beat up. All right, and that's why I'm saying, you could obtain one for about 50 to 60 bucks in this market in pretty low grades. So this one right here is a huge red flag in that you're not guaranteed a specific date. You can't even message the seller to say, hey, do you happen to have a blah, 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 blah date? All right, so let's say an 1884P Morgan dollar. You want an 1884P in mint state condition. They can't guarantee that because of the details of this type of listing. And there are a ton of other listings very similar to this one where it's all mostly a lottery component type of sale. You pay this $99.50. Let's say you paid full money for it, unless you added, throw in an offer of like $90. I don't even think they'll accept that. The profit margin for this particular listing is a gold mine for Jeff's Coins, but that at the expense of you, the customer, willing and able to accept that amount of money for that coin, where you could just as easily go to maybe a local coin shop or go online to AppMex and buy it for a lot cheaper. The feedback rating, 94.4% off of 83,700 and some odd feedbacks, is a little auspicious. Okay, normally to operate a good eBay store, you need to be around 98% and up. But this right here is another red flag for this particular listing. That feedback rating is way too low for the amount of sales that he has had. But yeah, again, if you dig down a little bit deeper here into the description, I mean, you could go and read this yourself. Blowout prices, you know, they like to use kind of these buzzwords that make the purchase a little bit emotional, almost like a FOMO scenario type of sale where, you know, we're selling these blowout price. You ever drive down the street in town and you see the guy waving a sign around, or you see these cars with these ad signs on top of their cars that say clearance sale at furniture store? You're like, geez, they've had like 10 clearance sales in the last 2 years at that same furniture store. It's a buzzword. Even though it says clearance and all that, it makes you believe that they're closing their store and that they're going to strip away all the money to make it a really good deal. See, so there's a lot of psychological type of tactics that's being used in this particular listing. Blowout prices, uncirculated, you know, making it seem like you could get an uncirculated coin from this date range. They threw in Carson City as being an option because that's going to be the premium mint. So they didn't need to put Carson City in there, but they added it in there to make this particular listing more of a gambler's premium type of offering. And that's what you don't want to do if you're looking to pick up coins to add to an investment portfolio as your, you know, hedge against inflation. This is one that I would say you need to avoid at all costs. And another thing to kind of, you know, really put the feather in the cap, regularly $139, they slashed it 30% off. They're using a lot of like these sales tactic jargons that are not illegal in any way, but they are way too salesy. All right, in the course of these type of listings, there's just too many weird, funky. It's like you're buying a car from a shady sales guy. All right, there's a lot of things here that you need to read in a little bit deeper before you decide to hit the buy it now button. Now, I mean, you know, you could just as easily go and pick these up. I mean, look at this. They're offering little deals. Okay, so they're trying to incentivize you by picking up more items. So if you picked up 3, if you added 3 to cart, okay, we will include a Morgan from each of the big 3 mints. Philly, New Orleans, and scarce San Francisco, which, by the way, is not scarce at all. Okay, that's a misconception. Carson City is a little bit more scarce, but that's really it. There are scarce dates. There's not scarce mints. If you buy 5 or more coins, we will include an NGC or PCGS certified graded Morgan as one of your coins. Okay. Notice that they put in most grade mint state 62 to 64. Grading alone costs up to $40. That's not your problem. The grading is not your problem. You shouldn't have to fit the bill for their grading. And then oftentimes, they're probably bulk buying these wholesale for around $40 because coins in that grade range, now you can get them in state 64 and be around $100. Oftentimes, they're not going to send you a 64. It's going to be a 62 or a 63. These are coins on the secondary market that traditionally go for about $70 to $90, which again, it falls well below that $99 buy price. Now, you're buying 5 here, so you're going to get just a slight little discount of about $1.50 off of each coin. If you buy 10 or more of the coins, there you go. They're going to include a proof like Morgan. More likely it's going to be that common dated 1881S, and it's not going to look good. Those things are generally very well beat up, even with the PL surfaces. If you buy 30 of the coins or more, They're going to give you a fully certified 999 fine gold bar valued up to $180, so it sounds like a 1/10 ounce. If you buy 60, and thank God, man, you're going to be like the most loyal customer on the face of the earth. They're going to give you a uncirculated Carson City Morgan as one of your coins in your lot. All right, so it's not going to be an additional coin. It's going to be a replacement coin for one of the ones that you bought. But you see the tiered incentivized kind of list here. They're still going to be making a crap ton of money by selling these coins, because keep in mind, they had paid around $35-40 for each of these coins. They buy them in big bulk lots, which you could still do out there for yourself if you wanted to, and eliminate this middleman here. But yeah, huge red flag. And this is the one listing that I wanted to bring to your guys' attention among the couple others I have for you today. All right, so the feedback, again, very auspicious. I would certainly be wary of these type of lots. There are a lot of people selling them like this. And they try and make it impressive too. You know, they'll stack, old obsolete currency in the background, which are a dime a dozen. You can pick them up for around, $20 a piece. And then they split open a roll, which, by the way, these old rolls have a lot more wear on them. And they didn't start rolling up Morgan dollars, until about the 40s. There are no known original rolls, because they were all stored in canvas bags and not rolls. So don't be led to believe that this is a vintage 140-year-old roll, because it's not. All right, so the next one, and we're just going to kind of go on down the line here, because, people are looking for things that are extraordinary, things that they think that they're going to be able to hold on to and then sell later on, maybe in a year or so, when the coin market is at its highest, and possibly send off to grading. All right, so what else do we have here? There's going to be lots. People are, the safest bets are going to be the graded coins, and the graded coins that are listed here, people are asking all sorts of different money for it. Again, do your research and see what's out there, and go from there. So here's the next one. This is a 1881 Choice Gem BU Mint State Morgan Silver Dollar. Okay, first thing you'll notice, $125. One of the areas to look for, the date, 1881S, very common for Mint State Morgan dollars. All right, but also look and see what they also did here as well. They made it look like that this is a graded, certified example right here, when in reality, this is a slab holder that you could buy for $2. They snap together, and you just simply either write in or type your own label. But it gives it a very professional, unique kind of look that rivals PCGS and NGC slabs. There's the front of it. Of course, it looks very generic. You could kind of, if you look close enough, you could see writing on the backside of that little sheet of paper, which is handwritten on there. When we look at the back, as you can tell, the coin looks decent. To say that it's a Mint State Plus grade, I'd say is a little bit of a stretch. This is probably more along that line of 62, 63. Not worth the $30 or $40 it takes to send this out to a legit grader, because you're not going to make any money here. Of course, there's no back label, no hologram or anything like that some of the third-party companies actually use as part of their anti-counterfeiting measure. But as you can see, this is another thing that people are doing as well to try and game a little extra money from you, is it's in the presentation. Now, I'm all cool for a presentation, but when you blatantly make the listing look like it's a graded coin, that's where I kind of put my foot down a little bit and say, well, yeah, the case looks neat. You can buy these, even on Etsy. Etsy has these little cases also. But there are people, and this is probably not as egregious as some of the other ones I've seen, where they actually do their own kind of like garage slabbing company. I've seen a few of those, but you can't put that in the listing title on eBay. You can only use the top grading companies like PCGS, NGC, and Annex. But yeah, this one right here, $125 is way too much money for this coin. Raw condition, this is probably around $50 to $60. Now, it really depends on how much you're going to buy it for, but that's kind of like a roundabout range on how much you would expect to pay for a coin of this type. And the pictures are pretty decent. I mean, you could kind of tell that it is a true mint state condition coin. It does have some kind of like white milky spots in certain areas, which people don't really like too much when they're looking for these, especially the more collectible grade examples. But yeah, I mean, you have to take a look at the dollar value and compare it to the item in question, and really do your research through this. Is an 1881S, and I'm just going to throw it out there, raw coin, really $125? Okay, go on completed eBay listings and see where these have sold at historically, and you're going to find that it doesn't. It doesn't even touch $100. It is one of the most common dates that you will find in mint state condition. These are coins that you see generally sold in rolls, like in the plastic rolls. And these are the coins as well that you see a lot of proof-like examples as well, which is generally what people will go for. The proof-like examples of this coin, raw condition, has sold somewhere in like $60 to $100. Again, it really depends on how clean the coin looks. All right, and then the final red flag, by no surprise, is going to be coins that appear to be incredibly toned. All right, so this is a 1900p Morgan silver dollar, and this is some kind of, I think it's like a made-up hoard, lime kiln hoard, gold fire and ice toning, plus video. It sounds pretty impressive. Toned coins have had a tremendous bounty of extra value in the marketplace today, that people are really looking for these ungraded coins that they could go and send off to PCGS in the hopes of really striking it rich. Because a coin that at first glance looks pretty with all of this emerald green, which is a very pretty toned color, by the way, along with some of the other progressive colors on there, these are coins that are very desirable. And most of the time, they sell for many thousands of dollars. So there's there's a pretty good money-making proposition to be had here when you're looking for raw toned coins. Now, again, this is where a little bit of the education is going to come into play. How much research have you done in advance to really familiarize yourself with what a legitimate toned coin would look like? And I could honestly say that this one has artificial toning written all over it. Okay, first thing that's going to draw your attention. This is not the best picture to look at, by the way. It does have some areas that's going to be quite dubious on there, but take a look at the full obverse picture. What do you guys see? This coin is circulated. Now, it's circulated, and it doesn't have the pull-away toning from the outer devices. This bad boy was baked or chemically altered to give it this color, and which is unfortunate. Normally, your true blue toned coins that come out of these old GSA canvas bags are going to produce the most beautiful colors. But you could see around the devices, the irregularity of color and wear indicate that this one has been altered in a huge way. And that's unfortunate. Here's a full reverse picture. You'll see that everything just looks just bad on this. This is going to be a coin that you want to avoid at all costs, and there's a pretty good number of these out on eBay and the open market. Not just eBay, but you could go any time on Facebook, buy sell trade groups, Craigslist, just any social media site, even Instagram. Folks are selling coins like this. Some will say, well, you're buying the art. I'm like, well, it's a lot more than that. Okay, you're going to have a heck of a time trying to resell this thing when it comes down to it. 1900 Morgan Silver Dollar lime kiln horn. I've never heard that before, but people, I mean, you know, I'm glad you're able to add videos to eBay listings now, which certainly helps. But you know, you could certainly go in here and do some reading, see if there's any legitimacy to this. I mean, if it was part of a hoard that was discovered in the Virginia's Blue Ridge Mountains, these look terrible. There's a lot of carbon on these, a lot of gunk and grime and dirt. It's in bad shape. But how do you get a coin that, and it stinks that they had to put that other picture there because it makes their listing look even bad. More bad than it does. So keep that in mind. Okay, if it's too good to be true. And normally, you know, everybody knows about third-party grading companies. If they haven't sent this off to a third-party grader by now, there's something definitely wrong with that. Because these people are not dumb. They realize the potential of this type kind of market. I mean, obviously, they're selling this one for $575, so they understand there's a lot of money to be made in the toner market. This one right here, just a huge, huge red flag when it comes to shopping for some of these old silver on there. But yeah, that's what I want to talk about. Those are like kind of like the three big ones that out there. There's a lot more, and we'll talk more about it as we head into the summer months. We're going to do one on copper and pennies and all that great stuff. That's another big one as well. You know, aside from the unsearched roll debacle that will continue to live on probably well beyond, you know, my time here on Earth. You know, protect yourself. You guys are spending all your hard-earned money. And, you know, really do your research, and you guys will do okay. Silver is going to be on the rise. The desirability for the physical metal is already there, but it's going to be going up a lot more naturally, okay? Not by some silver raid or anything like that, because of the way the stock markets and cryptocurrency markets has been performing lately because of all this inflation. We're going to see people put and dump more money into precious metals, not just silver, but gold and platinum and palladium and everything else. Even copper, we'll see a little bit of action for all of the folks that don't have quite the amount of money to put into it. But that's going to go ahead and do it, guys. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Hopefully you got a few takeaways from this video. Always be safe when you're shopping online. And use a preferred payment method where you are 100% covered. eBay generally has that down pat. They do side with the buyers most of the time. You know, that's, again, a conversation for another time. But that's going to go ahead and do it. You guys take care. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on the next coin video. So long.